behind the line of scrimmage by Colton Underwood.
The spotlight has been on me both on the playing field and on TV in my quest to find love.
Hannah, will you accept this rose?
Yes.
This show is not that show. This show is all about people spreading love and highlighting the good all around us.
Hey Colton, I got some information about a family that has a boy who has cystic fibrosis. He's 4 years old.
What can we do to help them? We're on a mission to inspire others to do good.
I've traveled through 50 states and 37 countries, and I've hugged and high-fived 500,000 people.
Come on, get some, man.
Escape from the negative news. Come hang with us and meet the positive people changing their communities.
After that haircut, it changed their whole outlook on life. It does something to you, it makes you feel good.
All good, all the time.
Before all of this started, I was just a normal college student. I didn't see it as a barrier at all. I looked at the things that I could do and I said I still have something to offer.
These are the stories that will make you feel good.
Welcome home! Woo!
They're not going to build you a house and just walk away. You're going to be friends with them for the rest of your life.
I'm Colton Underwood, and this is All Good. This amazing boy with a rare skin condition gets a surprise that will change his life forever.
I'll say thank you again, but how I can say it so meaningful, I don't know how. My left foot is smaller than my right because when I was born, I had no skin at all on this left foot. Some parts of my body are a little bit worse than other times. I sleep in my parents' bed because, you know, I used to call them 6 times, like, every night, you know, to take my pain medication, or because I had to go to the bathroom, or because my feeding stopped.
His bathroom right now is so cold, we run 3 space heaters. When he takes his bandages off and he's wet, he's shivering, he's so cold until we get him rebandaged.
We asked the Tunnels to Towers Foundation to help us with installing a tub in our kitchen, and they took my mother outside and said, we're not going to do this for you because that tub is going to be in your new house that we're going to build for you.
He saw a problem that existed that we had tried to live with and cope with for a long time.
This is going to be a Thanksgiving I will never forget. I have waited so long to be independent, and I can't believe that I finally have a home that's not only accessible, but has smart technology that's gonna help me and my whole family. It's got an elevator lift in it. It's got a treatment room for my bandages and my medicine.
Welcome home! Woo!
Beautiful. This is the room he's been waiting for, right?
Oh
What do you think? You promised Greg some guacamole. You're gonna make it.
I promise, yes.
That's different.
I'd like to reach the table.
Yeah, you like? You can sit here and cook, huh?
That's your room, buddy.
Holy mackerel. This is so cool. Is this my parents' room? Yes. Mom.
I'm coming, baby. I'm coming.
Oh,
you like it? You like it?
honestly, I don't even care about my room. You guys get your own room.
Yeah.
They're not going to build you a house and just walk away. You're going to be friends with them for the rest of your life. This is like way more than even imagine. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, if they were just building us a regular house, I'd be ecstatic. But they're building a house where, like, I can live independently for, like, the rest of my life.
For this next piece, this man travels the world giving people high fives.
I'm David Hale Sylvester, otherwise known as the Human High Five. I've traveled through 50 states and 37 countries, and I've hugged and high-fived 500,000 people. Kevin was a guy that I patterned myself after. He was the dude, man. He was a cool dude. He worked in the first tower. The plane pretty much flew directly into his floor. It was just tough to say that, hey, look, he's gone. I just felt vulnerable, man. Decided to ride my bike across the United States to process everything. I thought it was just me and Kevin. What I found is that people wanted a connection. People wanted a hug. People wanted a high five. People wanted to talk. It was becoming evident that I was doing something else for people.
4, 3, 2, time.
Well, look at that sweetness. Smile, get a high five. When I reached the journey's end, much like a gambler, I was like, look, one more time. Let's go to the tables one more time. I heard about this bicycle race across Africa that went from top to bottom. I thought about all the smiles that I could be a part of. Africa, the whole experience touched me in a very profound way. So I was ready to just roll the dice again. I biked to Asia from Istanbul to Beijing, Australia, Sydney to Melbourne. It's funny where the world takes you, man. I have gone to places affected by violence, like the Pulse nightclub after that shooting, Las Vegas, Sutherland Springs, the church that got shot up. I can sort of let people know, hey, listen, there can be a smile in a purposeful life after tragedy. I was in a bar, there was a guy with a Confederate flag hat. We hugged and he gave me a high five. From that moment, well, something good can happen. My journey started here on September 11th, 2001. It's still going strong. Get some?
Have a great day.
No, I went to Alaska. That was my 50th state. I've been to 50 states and 37 countries since my friend was killed on September 11th.
My wife and I worked for the intelligence community during 9/11, and we had friends killed in the Pentagon.
Come on, get some, man.
So what's next?
This September 12th, 18 years after my story started, I am going to hug the world in 80 days. Hug and high five events on every continent in major cities around the world and just try to do what I can one more time to make the world smile. Get a high five. Nice. That's what it's like. Kevin, where are you, brother? My hugs and high fives are my way of turning the page to a brighter day. But I just wanted to high five him one more time because I miss him. I'm doing my part. Nice! Nice! Through a hug and a high five.
Needed that today.
There you go, man.
Still to come.
I had to learn how to sit up. I had to learn how to walk again. I didn't see it as a barrier at all.
And later, so this is an Aflo vest, and with this vest, you don't have to be plugged into a wall anymore.
Whoa.
I'm Colton Underwood. Coming up in just a bit, we're gonna surprise a deserving family battling a disease I'm super passionate about. But right now, the ultimate story of determination. If you have ever wanted to quit, this will change your mind.
Before all of this started, I was just a normal college student. Slowly I started getting symptoms, headaches, numbness and tingling in my legs. My brain's a little too big for my skull, so it compresses the spinal cord.
Medical school, just for an average person, is the most difficult thing you're gonna do probably in your life. To do this with neurologic complications, especially a stroke, I can't imagine.
But for me, I didn't see it as a barrier at all. I just kept persevering. I had brain surgery in colleges. I continued having brain surgery during medical school. I had a stroke that initially left me unable to function from the neck down. I had to learn how to sit up. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to brush my teeth again. Just things that we don't think about. Now that I finished my 3rd year, I've been able to connect with patients on a whole different level. I know what it's like to have a feeding tube. I know what it's like to have a port. Some things that maybe doctors miss, I get because I was a patient. So I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was a little girl. Before all of this started, I was just a normal college student. I started getting headaches, I started getting numbness and tingling in my legs, and it got to a point where I would stand up and I would fall. I was starting to kind of black out, and we knew something was wrong. And it was then that they found that I had Chiari malformation. So when I got my diagnosis, I was sent to a neurosurgeon. He told me that I needed brain surgery as soon as possible. If not, I was going to be paralyzed from the neck down. And so within a week, I was undergoing my first brain surgery. Chiari malformation is where my brain's a little too big for my skull, so a portion of it comes out the bottom of the skull and it compresses the spinal cord, and then that can lead to paralysis. I thought I'd have one surgery. I knew my life would be a little different, but I thought I would have this surgery, go on to med school, and that would kind of be the end of my story, but it's been quite the opposite of that. So since I was first diagnosed in 2011, I've had 6 major brain surgeries. I think my lowest point was after my stroke, February 6th of 2017. At the time, my brainstem had actually become tethered to the back of my dura, and your brainstem controls a lot of your bodily functions. And so the surgeon told us ahead of time that we were probably going to encounter many complications, and unfortunately it did happen, and I had a stroke that initially left me unable to function from the neck down. I thought maybe it was a sign that I shouldn't go into medicine. People around me were very diligently telling me that I needed to leave medicine.
There's been a couple of people, doctors, that have mentioned to her that she can't go on, or, you know, because of her condition or her medical issues, but she's proved them wrong.
I looked at the things that I could do, and I said I still have something to offer.
I think if you take medical school just for an average person, it is the most difficult thing you're going to do probably in your life. To do this with neurologic complications, especially a stroke, I can't imagine.
I had to relearn how to do absolutely everything. My mom still had to shower me, dress me. She was the one who would type my essays. I would tell her what to type and she would type them for me. She would drive me to wherever I needed to go. She would put my earphones in my ears for me so I could listen. So that's how I continued medical school when I couldn't actually do the things that I needed to do. It was incredibly hard. So TIER is amazing. They are responsible for my recovery. I always say if I didn't go to TIER, I wouldn't have the function I do now. They have equipment that other places don't have. I got to use a Rex exoskeleton. And it's basically like an exoskeleton that I get to go into, and that kind of taught me how to learn how to walk again. I think my experience has been a blessing in disguise, and I wouldn't change it for anything because I've been able to connect with patients on a whole different level. I know what it's like to have a feeding tube. I know what it's like to have a port. Some things that maybe doctors miss, I get because I was a patient. I recently got my feeding tube removed. So at one point I lost all function in swallowing. And so I needed a feeding tube so that way I could get my nutrition. It basically kept me alive for the past 3 years. So my graduation date is set for May 15th, 2020, so in about a year. And I plan to go into physical medicine and rehabilitation.
I'm just so excited. I just wait for that day, you know. I know it's gonna be so special. She makes me proud, more proud each and every day.
Extremely proud. I think as proud as a father could be. I just love being able to be there for her, and she's there for me too.
You know, we hear about walks for different causes, and I had found a walk called Conquer Chiari, and I found there was not one in Houston. So I brought it to Houston. I've done it for 4 years in a row. I'm going to be a co-organizer again this year, and we've raised about $55,000 for research. And I'm also an ambassador for Fight Like a Warrior. It's a kind of an organization that links young adults together, especially ones that are dependent on like feeding tubes, ports, things of those natures, just to know that they're not alone and that
she just keeps going. She never lets go of her dream.
Coming up next.
It's not my business how they became homeless or how they got here, but I make it my business to help them get out.
And later.
It's a disease that as you age, it gets a little worse and it gets deeper and deeper into the disease.
So I figured if I have a platform, I want to give back and help out. There's nothing like a fresh new haircut. This story takes us to Philadelphia, where a man is spreading love with free haircuts.
It's something about being a barber. It's kind of like a doctor. When you have a patient that's sick and you know all of the right things to do to make them feel better, it does something to you. It makes you feel good. You never know how they're feeling or what they're going through. But after that haircut, it changed their whole outlook on life.
And he actually cares about us. That's another thing.
I really care. You can't just end homelessness. It's not something that you can just snap a finger, it just ends. But I believe that there's so much more that can be done.
It's refreshing, because when you know you need a haircut, you're looking rough, you don't have any money, this brother's here to help you out. No questions asked.
This spot, 3 blocks from City Hall, on the most popular street in Philly.
It's a nice view.
Anybody that is somebody walks or rides through this area. And my thing is, I'm basically putting the problem, homelessness, in their faces. It's not my business how they became homeless or how they got here, but I make it my business to help them get out. My name is Gwan Jones, and I give haircuts to the homeless. Every day is pretty simple. I wake up, I get dressed, and the first thing that's on my mind is, I wonder who's gonna be impacted by this initiative today. I come out, I set up, and I cut 20 to 25 people.
Probably the best barber I know of. And he's out here doing his thing, like treating the homeless well, treating us like we're human beings.
Haircut for homeless was birthed just out of wanting to do something different for the homeless population. I've been a barber for some years, so I went out, I cut a few guys, and from there I just kept going. It just became a passion of mine.
After I walked away, after my haircut, I felt like $100.
Just seeing the smiles on people's faces and knowing that I was playing a part in, helping these guys out, I just fell in love with it. And 2 years, almost 3 years later, here we are.
This is right here almost every day, so it makes it easier.
And I quit my job so I could do this full time because I realized that it was needed. Go out and spread love. Not the haircut aspect of it, but just someone to notice that these guys do exist out here. And they're not a forgotten demographic of people. Like, they are still human beings, and they deserve the utmost respect that we give to, everybody else.
It's hard for us to afford it, because my goodness, I'd have been to several barbershops. They want $15 a darn shape up. I don't have it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's the conversation, it's the encouragement. I think they look forward to that more than a haircut. I want you to get yourself together so your mom can stop crying, your sister can stop worrying. Of course, making them look good helps their self-esteem.
That looks good. I like it.
How you like them eyebrows?
They look good now. I feel like human again.
A lot of times they just want to hear you can make it. Don't give up. Keep going. They want to hear that more than anything else.
I feel a lot better than I was then.
I hear it in your voice, you sound better. You sound more vibrant, more alert. We got to keep you in this place. I meet people from everywhere, from other countries, from different states, different races, different stories. They all have one thing in common, but they all got there from a different place. They all went through different things.
I feel like it gives me a certain sense of dignity.
I get my healing from watching others get healed.
I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody else out here does too.
Being homeless, period, isn't easy. But homelessness in Philadelphia, everybody has their personal opinions, and none of them are good.
I'd rather control it and get rid of the beard and all if you can.
Whatever you want, you got it. People take pictures all the time. I think being here, it leaves a lasting impression on a lot of people. A haircut is one of those things where if you look good, you feel good. He's one of my regulars. He comes every other week. I done seen some of the worst things happen to these guys out here. And when they sit in my chair, all that stuff goes away for the moment.
I feel so much better walking away.
And when they look at themselves in the mirror, it's like they don't even recognize themselves.
I feel like a different person. I look like a different person.
It takes them back to who they were at some point in time in their life when they weren't homeless. They start to see themselves again. It helps them to say, you know what, maybe I can get back to this.
It's awesome that people care.
After the break. Okay, it's powering on.
It's gonna turn on.
Yep. Cystic fibrosis affects 30,000 people in America. You feel it?
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to be a part of the cystic fibrosis family and helping these kids and these adults living with CF out.
Yeah.
When a family member of mine was diagnosed with the disease, I created a foundation to support patients and their families live a bigger, better life. Do you want to put this on? There you go. You feel it?
Yeah.
Hey Rachel, what's up?
Hey Colton, I wanted to let you know I got some information this morning about a family that's near you that has a boy who has cystic fibrosis. He's 4 years old. They recently got information from the utility that they may lose power for days at a time because of the fires. This boy has to do his airway clearance treatment a couple times a day, and it's one of those units that plugs into the wall.
What can we do to help them? I was initially introduced to cystic fibrosis when my little cousin Harper was born with it. And it was around the same time that I was going into the NFL and playing football. So I figured if I have a platform, I want to give back and help out. Cystic fibrosis affects 30,000 people in America and 70,000 people worldwide. So today we are actually giving the Allen family a brand new vest.
I remember first getting the call and I was on the phone, I was holding my baby and I was looking down at my baby and I was like, this kid? You know, you look at him now and he just looks like a toddler. You looked at him then and he just looked like a skinny baby.
So this is an Afflo vest, and with this vest, you don't have to be plugged into a wall anymore. So you charge it, it has battery in it, and you could wear it and do your vest treatment wherever you want.
Whoa.
Where's the first place you're gonna do your treatment at?
Dancing.
Dancing?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fun to me. So the Douglas family was my original California Legacy Project recipient. I've been doing this all across the nation. So the Douglas family was one of the very first families that I met. A young boy named Buster was the recipient here in California. And it's special for me to bring them because in a way it's a full circle.
Growing up, it was kind of like I was in a different universe than all the regular kids. It's a disease that as you age, it gets a little worse. It gets deeper and deeper into the disease. You do have to keep a distance because you do want to have contact with them. You do want to have a conversation and try to give them a little bit more hope that there is things that you can do. It's not over for you. I knew that I had it for a reason. We all get dealt different cards in life, but I knew that I got those cards for a certain reason. It was to help people. It was my purpose.
I like this vest.
I'm thankful to live in a country and be in a position in my life where if people reach out for help, I can help them.
The Legacy Foundation's going above and beyond for the families themselves and making the patients with CF feel special.
Do you know someone who's doing good for others? Let us know on social media and you might just see their story on All Good. Thanks for watching. I'm Colton Underwood.